Hey, welcome back. Over the weekend on August 3rd, I was pretty fortunate to have at least Saturday to be at the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Sunday, I was doing something else automotive related that may or may not make any common sense. But when I start now, um, I had this car at the Bring a Trailer event. It was an alumni thing, so it was really cool. We had a really good parking spot. I'll have a video up probably before those. So I just got to edit that. It's like 4 little videos, and I just haven't really had a lot of time. But anyway, I got to get this back up to Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, where it's in storage. So I can kind of put this in the garage along with that. But I sit here and I look at these cars and I keep talking about like, oh, well, if I only had, whatever. But last year and early this year was kind of like a crazy time for me buying cars and getting stuff. And when I bought this, I said, I'm done. Well, I bought a parts car. It's a project car, totally restorable 57. So I got that, but I don't really plan on holding that long term. If I find a complete built up engine, I might sell that thing on complete because someone would really like it's the original engine and whatever. So but this is really the last car I intended to buy of the vintage variety. This was perfect. This was perfectly amazing when I got it. I wouldn't have ordered one like this. I would have ordered one like this. This is kind of my wheelhouse. I absolutely positively adore and love this car. I drive the heck out of it. I haven't been driving it as much. I did 10,000 in the first year. I've only done about 3,000 in year 2 so far. That's okay. I'll get some more miles on it. And I got about 5,000 on this. Just did the second oil change. Only 4,000 miles between it on there. But now I'm at the 5,000 mark. And what's nice on that is, it triggers a warning. And I do my oil changes every 5,000 to 6,000 miles on synthetic oil anyway. So this car got its tires rotated, the oil changed, and it's well on its way to being a reliable daily in the fleet. But getting back to these 3 here. So fifth gen. Had I known what the focus of my efforts would be, and I mean, that and the Pontiacs and all the other stuff, but to me, honestly, this is kind of my wheelhouse. These Celicas. If I found a track, I'd buy it. If I find a nice GT liftback, I'll buy it because I just love these cars. One comment I kept getting: there was no 5th gens. There was one 6th gen, at the Grand Prix, and talked with the owner, and she daily drives it, and probably that car is older than her, which is cool. And these cars are just, you don't see them. And I met a 5th gen owner, has a GT Cooper liftback, and it needs paint. It was a Texas car, but the interior was clean and everything like that. And as we were chatting, she's like, these just don't exist. And they're kind of blown away the condition of these cars. And that's the thing, you just don't see these. I had one of these. My friend had one of these. And so this has kind of become the focus of my passions with the cars. Not that I'm not doing, I love all the cars. And when I'm playing around with the 57 Chrysler, I'm passionate about that car. But, when it comes down to it, these drive beautifully. So, 5th gen, had I known, instead of Glass City, which was my Instagram name before I was, hip deep in the cars, I probably would have been 5th gen J and done that, because it really, these to me are the perfect Celicas. They were just the right combination of economical, practical. Being front drive, they were much more practical than the rear drive brethren. Maybe not as fun to throw around. I mean, these are fun cars to drive, but you could drive these daily in the Northeast and enjoy them. And of course, probably the most legendary 4Runner. I know a lot of 4Runner people, fans, you're going to have very big opinions on everything, but this has stayed around so long and this has been refined so long that this is really going to be kind of like the high water mark. I think like this. I think these were like, after this, it started becoming like, what are they doing? You know, I like the 6th gen, but then you get to the 7th and then they went away. You know, it's hard to get these cars together right now before my garage is built. And if you want to see the exploits of that craziness, there's a couple videos up. A lot of activities going to start tomorrow on it, and then next week. And then we'll have the whole foundation plumbed and poured and all that good stuff. But, you know, I'm taking this, like I said, up to storage. I'm going to enjoy the drive up there. And then I'll have this with my daughter's Jeep, this and this. And I really, 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 really am trying to enjoy these cars while I have the weather. I mean, it's early August, but, you know, last time I checked, it was early May. That's how the summer goes, I think, especially when you get older. So, you know, I had fun with this last night. I brought it back and just had a good time with it. Like I said, there's a couple little door dings on it. There's like a little chip that was fixed here, a couple things, and I'm not too worried about that, but there's like a ding there. Couple dings in the door here. They're very minor. There's a little ripple bump ding in the quarter panel back here, and right there. And I'm gonna have that taken care of. I gotta contact that person today, and once that's done, this is gonna go to a very familiar place for me, and they're going to do a paint correction and maybe ceramic coating, because the other thing with this is I don't really want to wax this. It's fun. I went through and I detailed it, but you know, I have more fun just ripping around in these cars. And so if I get this to the state where I want it, and it's not going to be out all the time, I mean, you know, these wheels being refinished, and they're refinished on the inside. They're not like, I think the corners on and these wheels, it was very reasonable to do this, but they just turned out beautifully. And they're kind of like the spark to just get the last part of this done. The seats are getting done. Front seats, their rears are pretty good on August 16th. And after all that is done, this and a little bit of detailing under the hood, just not much, it's going to be ready for showing. And I didn't really think this car was ever going to be that. It was a nice car and it was a driver car, but then I started sorting on it, and I started, you know, again, new clutch, new rear main seal, new evaporator on the air conditioning system. Then I put all new brakes, including the really hard to find ABS master cylinder. Put in new suspension struts and everything. So I want this car to handle, ride, and perform as best it can. I mean, really the only thing that has not been rebuilt on this has been the engine. And if you ever start these up, the common trait of 2.2s in this generation or the latter generation is about 60,000 miles, they start getting a little puff of smoke upon start, and it goes away. And it's just a common thing where if a little bit of, you know, oil seeps. So, you know, this one, 133,000 miles, it runs fine, it goes fine. It's not ready yet, but at some point it will. And at that point, I don't know, I'll rebuild it stock looking. I might try to put in a few little more, you know, I don't know. That's years away. But this car will get to the point where it's 200,000 miles with me. That's the plan. I really don't want to load the miles up on the white one. It's 63,000. When I got it, it was 59 something. And I turned over 60,000 shortly after I got it. So I want to keep that as original, and I want to enjoy this as much as possible. So show and go was the original thought process with this. Now it's show, don't drive, show and drive like heck. So it's good because I you know, when I have this one at a show, I wish I had this one, and vice versa. I mean, these cars are both like, I'll say, well, if you think this one's cool, look at this. And I'm really lucky to have one of these, let alone two of them. And that's why I'm so happy to, you know, just have this fleet. So 5th gens and this. And the more I drive this, I'm so glad I sold on my 21. It's a great vehicle. The 21 is a great vehicle, but this just has a few more things. The biggest thing for me, and it's going to sound silly, is it's not that basket. It is and it's not that Heritage grill. It is that little camera up front, and then the Fox suspension on it. The suspension is so much more forgiving. I never would have thought it would have been, that would have been one of the byproducts of having a really good off-road suspension. And I haven't taken it off-road yet, but I will. And you know, I got to get it fluid filmed, and I'd like to do a little, I got to reach out to them and see if they would let me kind of do a behind the scenes of what that entails. Because I will tell you, the only thing you can do to harm one of these, and you know, you can drive, you can do a lot of things to harm these, but anyway, if you fluid film this, you're going to eliminate the real big Achilles heel on these. And there's a place here that does it. They did my Jeep, both Jeeps, and my other 4Runner, and they're going to do this one. And I'm going to talk with them because they can take door panels off and everything like that. And I'm not sure I want to go that route, but if they can just at the door bottom spray in some other fluid film, I'm going to talk with them and see what they can do on there, because they'll do pretty much anything you want. There's levels of spray. I always went with the level 1 because it got everything underneath, and then I would go back every year and get a touch-up, and it's so worth it. I mean, one of the coolest things, you know, when I was at the dealer a couple months ago with the 21, was that dealer does like a little video when your car's in for inspection. The tech introduces themselves and say, hey, here's how your brakes look, here's how this looks, so you can see what they're telling you. And it's really cool. And the last thing he did is like, listen, I just want to tell you something. I don't know what you're doing to the underside of this vehicle, but please keep doing it. This looks amazing. Have a good day. And it just kind of made, you know, makes your day. Like, hey, I did something right on there. So fluid film is going to be applied to this in a couple weeks. I'm going to make an appointment, and I'd really like to go out there and see if I could film some, if they would let me, because I think you'd get a really good idea of what entails with that. And it's not a lot of money in comparison to what you're investing in that vehicle, and it will last a long time. Even if you don't keep it a long time, you look underneath it. I was like watching, I think like TRD John like bought a blue Voodoo Blue Tundra 21 or what 2019 Tundra, and he said it was rusty underneath, and I was like, it wasn't bad. It was like little bolts and everything, but for someone down south, that's terrible. For up here, that was like clean as anything. But you can keep them looking showroom new with fluid film on there. And there's other products you can do, like wool wax and everything like that, but I really like fluid film. It's a little thinner, and if you're going to reapply it every year like a touch-up coat, you know, one of those two is really important, but it says it works. So stay tuned on that. Stay tuned on this one especially. The white one is going back to storage. You probably won't see very much of it in the coming weeks until the garage is done and I move it into its new home. But we got some work to do on this, and you're gonna see this one. Next time you'll probably see it. This will be up with that for a week to get some special work done on the paint, and that'll be awesome. So hey, thank you for watching, and I gotta get this up. It's a beautiful sunny day here, but it's not gonna be later, so I gotta get that back up there, and have a great day.